breast cancer awareness program, what does that have to do with, how do those two link up and make sense? Well, you find a way to do it, right? Same with you guys and with podcasting and going down certain lanes. Like, you can get creative and combine two things that have never been combined before, and all of a sudden you're like the go-to for that. Like,
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready.
You mentioned Dave Portnoy earlier.
Yeah.
Like, he kind of wrote the blueprint on how to do certain things, so he's like now the godfather of that area. But they paved the way, and now there's like just a lot more opportunity to kind of go, hey, this is what worked for him, this is what didn't work for him. Let's take that, because he kind of wrote the book on a lot of this stuff, and make it our own.
Right. It's interesting where we're at, because I would almost start calling ourselves now, like, I want to be called more of a new media company, because I used to be called
groundbreaking. I didn't know this,
but I would always used to say we're media, but that doesn't really make any sense to
true.
Someone's like idea of where it is. And new media to me is what we are internally right now, but externally we're not showing, which is like we're always trying to take on like all of these resources. Like, Hollywood's trying to push away AI. I want to use it as much as possible. A lot of people want to like not share resources. I'm going to tell you about the new thing that I heard about today.
Well, that's just kind of like who we are as people.
That's a little bit like of our ethos.
Yeah.
And I think that works better, especially in like this, like where creator economy is. What
nobody's working together, and we're like, why does nobody work together?
Mm-hmm.
Like, every single one of these podcasts, they're all like, if you go to some of the biggest podcast teams, like, they do it a lot alone, and it's very interesting. So,
but I think a way giving the value is why people will tune in. Like, for example, like, a name that most people know, let's just say a Gary Vaynerchuk. Whether you like him or not, he gives away a lot of value, and he'll say, hey, do this, do that, do that. And still people will sign up for his courses, and still people will buy his book. And it'd be like, I gave you all the value out there. But, I think when you're giving away value like that, people trust you, and they're like, oh, they're doing something that no one else is quite doing. It's more reason for them to tune in. So I think that
and I also think what is really important is where media is going when it comes to like politics, cultural commentary. You have to be trusted. We really don't trust media anymore. Right. That's half the reason I even want to start this company, was because the lack of trust in the atmosphere. I go, oh, well, I don't trust anything that I'm hearing. I'm starting to see people, the way that they're starting to work their own thing internally, that I can trust a little bit more. We as like a consumer of all this stuff deserve that. And you have to start doing that early, or else you're going to like, in the long run, you're going to like, if you clean up too early on, people are going to go, you can't ever give it back. You know what I mean? You can't ever stop cutting out things you didn't want to say. It's like, if you start cutting out things you don't want to say, you'll be like, fuck, I can't like now be open and free. Like people say, I didn't know you were like that, blah, blah, blah. It's like, as long as you start, I try to say raunchy stuff every once in a while just to be able to push all the other people away that would maybe not like it.
Right.
Because I'm like, perfect. I don't need you here. For then we can actually get to like the real topic.
I love that.
How do you consume media? Like, what does your landscape look like?
Like, are you asking
like, is it
more, like,
news? Is it podcasts? Like, I'm always curious.
Yeah. So one thing that I listen to every morning, because I can't, like, some people can watch the news all day, every day. I cannot.
Fucking kill me.
I cannot do that.
No.
Because they're also, pinpointing what we're, watching, and there's a lot to be upset about, and they'll really zone in on it. And I feel like if I consume too much of the news, then I start getting like anxious and nervous and upset. But you still want to stay informed at the same time, right? So I listen to Morning Brew Daily every single day. Are you guys familiar with that?
Yeah.
I like listening to that. It's playful, it's fun. They get to the point. There's good banter, and it runs around 25 minutes. And I'm like, okay, I feel like I kind of got the scoop on most things in the news, at least a general overview.
Right.
That one. But
like, you're not like flipping on CNN or
never.
Fox News.
Honestly,
or any. Yeah.
Neither, never really. Maybe during the election cycle, because then, when it gets closer to the election, it becomes like
a reality show.
I was gonna say it shouldn't be, but it is. It becomes too like, I don't know, like must miss, can't miss television.
Totally.
So for during an election year, yes. But other things like, I love listening to a good business podcast. On Andy Frisella, Ed Milet. My buddy Matt Labrie has a podcast, Decoding Success, that I listen to.
You're on that a few times.
Yeah. So he has us in to do roundtables every so often, which is really fun. And
what's the roundtable?
Roundtable is just kind of shooting the shit. Yeah, shooting the shit. Like but we love that, and like maybe we go in with like a topic or two.
Yeah.
And we just see where it takes us.
I love that.
Yeah.
When you're listening to this stuff, like when you're waking up in your morning brew, is it just to be able to understand like where we're at is as far as like the landscape of things, or are you like seeking out like inspiration to be able to just like where's your head at when you're initially like, I'm going to turn on a YouTube or Spotify to be able to engage in this? Like, What is your thought process in it? Or is it like, I just need to disconnect for a while?
So with that particular podcast in the morning, I listen to it in the morning, usually when I'm having my coffee. Maybe that's exactly what they want me to do.
Sponsored by Folgers. I love it.
Yeah, for real. I have it like with my coffee just about every single day. But what I like about it is it's pretty fair and balanced and down the middle, which I like. So it allows you to really think for yourself on an issue instead of them being like, oh, this guy sucks, or this is bad, or this is good. They don't really go too deep into their own opinions on it.
It's what the news should be.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And there's not enough of that out there.
No,
and
there's
I like
not.
that they offer that. It's different.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't word that question right because it was, and you got to exactly what I was trying to say, because I do think people sometimes listen to the news of going, I want to know what the fuck Biden's doing today.
Yeah.
And this podcast is going to slice and dice.
Confirmation bias.
You know, like 100%.
Right.
Or like, I want to hear what the other side is thinking today.
Right.
And I think that's actually how I consume a lot of like my political news. Because like a headline can come out and I always know that I'm going to slide a little right.
Okay.
Just because I don't even know why. Like I can read it and I go, oh, you're talking about me? Or I can read it and go, yeah, that's one for us.
Got it.
And I don't like that, but it's just the truth. And so I already know my opinion based on any headline where I'm like, oh, now I need to engage in the other side's understanding of what that headline would be. Sometimes I do it in order to pick it apart, or sometimes I do it to be able to like actually gain knowledge of like, why do you think that way? You know?
Yeah.
So you're trying to find your own balance, it sounds like.
Big time. Yeah. Always like trying to like be like, what? Why don't I get this? Or why don't I even have an opinion on it? Where you're just like sitting back going, I just want to know like a daily brief.
That's how I am, because I mean I'm just like not a political person, because I just think that it's all kind of puppeteer master thing that I can't get into.
Totally.
So I'm like, okay, let me know what's going on in the world so I know what's going on in the world versus more intrigue, dive deep into everything. But I mean, you're helpful for us because you consume fucking everything on like the podcast realm, and I'm like, I listen to like what we produce. Like I hate when people ask me like, what podcast do you listen to? I'm like, what we produce. Like I'm and like How I Built This. I love that show. It's bad.
How I Built This with Guy Raz.
I love that show.
I forgot about that show.
It's so good.
Dang, I didn't know it was still running.
It's still running. It's not as good as it used to be because I think they're running out of some founders or just stories, but it's still my show.
So I went to a live event of theirs once.
Really?
Yeah, this is many years ago. I want to say this is probably 2017. I believe it was like the founder of Etsy, I want to say, that was on there. But I do think one thing, that if I were to start a podcast, I would love to have events, and not every single podcast be an event, but I'd like to have something where there could be like live interaction, and today we're learning about whatever, and the people in the audience are getting involved with that, and then bringing wherever the instructor is up to the platform to speak. I think there's something about interactive podcasts that speak to me.
We're trying.
Yeah, that's a huge market that's emerged over the last year.
Yeah.
Where people even go like on tour with it.
Right.
Oh wow, no kidding.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I know that like Pardon My Take will go on tour.
Call Her Daddy just did it, right?
Call Her Daddy goes on tour. Canceled podcast. They have a big tour.
Smartless. They went on tour and they had an HBO show. I mean, part of that and some of the interesting things about like living in Los Angeles and things that we see with the entertainment industry is like okay, well, why is Shameless on HBO? It's on HBO because there's a strike and we can't produce content anything other than reality. So there's a clause in the strike that you can do reality. It's a whole thing. So, and I think we're gonna see.
But you can't promote.
You can't promote it.
So they could never promote like
Yeah.
a new movie, but they could talk all
But they
day.
could just they just talk.
This is stuff only you guys would know here. I mean,
I don't know.
really-
That's what's interesting about
that's
it.
like common knowledge here.
Sure.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Because it affects every single day of our lives when you live in LA, where you're like, the restaurants are empty because the producers and the agents and the managers are on vacation in Europe because they're like, we're not working and we've got a ton of money. So like the town gets quiet, or there's just certain nuances that are different here and relate to the bread and butter of this. But I'm sure there's the same in New York. It's just different industry.
Yeah, people care. I mean, listen, I mean, the industry, of course, but in terms of just like, I feel like as a casual, like, just fan of just say the arts or TV, movies, I don't think as many people know.
They don't.
In
Yeah.
New York. To
Yeah.
be honest with you,
For sure.
everyone's highly educated with that stuff here. Clearly,
It's not gonna be top of mind, nor because
No.
you just want to know that like people are gonna still make Netflix.
yeah.
Like, because I
Right.
think I got to the end of Netflix where they were just like, it was like watch again, and then it was like, dude, like we're good now. Like you can like,
You finished
I
it.
guess switch to like Amazon.
You win.
Yeah.
Which is scary,
Who was the final boss for you on Netflix?
right? I think it was probably Queen's Gambit.
Okay.
That was
Yeah.
the last thing you watched? Man.
You know what?
That's a
Actually,
good
I'm watching
show.
right now on Netflix is The Crown, which I would say I'm pretty late to The Crown.
Yeah. I mean, there's like 6 seasons, so.
Yeah, it's nice. It's like a perfect show to go to bed to. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's boring. And is Meghan Markle in there?
In the last season, I don't know. I haven't finished it.
I just want to know. That's like my real like.
You're just trying to get to season whatever. To
Yeah,
just
like
find
my
that
wife's
out.
trying to get to Princess Diana because she's like,
I'm
I don't know
there.
anything about her. I just want to like see it from this point of view. And I just want Merkel. But I'm watching like Queen Elizabeth right now. I'm like, dude, Merkel's gonna fuck your shit up. You don't even know it, dude. You're like 30 years away, and she's gonna fuck your life up right before you croak.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So it's weird. It's a weird energy when I watch that show, for sure.
What do you think the equivalent of like New Yorkers knowing a different industry or different side of life than anyone else would?
Oh, that's a really good question. I mean, few things. It depends on who you are, and it's obviously you can't. I don't know if there's necessarily one thing. Stocks. I feel like a lot of New Yorkers will like not.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of New Yorkers happen, and
You just know like what a good portfolio looks like, or like what's happening in the markets.
Yeah, more than most, and I'm not like super like watching the tickers all day every day, but I do feel like I know more than most just being in New York City.
You have more friends
overhearing-
in finance than like
that's
that's like
also
having an
probably-
actor friend.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So that one for sure. That's probably the biggest one that comes like top of mind to me, and then also like good restaurants and bars and speakeasies and
You guys
things
have
of
way
that
better
nature.
food than we
Yeah,
do.
but like
I don't know about that.
I do. I think so.
that we have what
Better food.
depends on what it is.
Yeah.
But
I
I'm
think
also super
overall.
biased.
I'm biased and I live here.
Yeah.
I
you always are going to romanticize a place you don't live, right? But I think LA
Yes.
crushes.
in what?
Well, tacos.
Top notch.
That's it.
Top notch. Undefeated in America, anyways.
100%.
Undefeated.
What else would it crush in? I think. Well, I mean, like I'll go to like some Arabic restaurants and stuff where I'm like, oh, I think they do a really good job of that.
Yeah, but I haven't.
Because those would all be called Greek in New York. And my wife would walk in and be like,
That's
"Oh, this is a Greek restaurant, huh? Got it. Okay, cool. Greek restaurant.
Oh, baklava.
Great.
So funny you should say like regarding the Mexican and Greek food too. So my thing is this. So I went here, and again, the Mexican food is banging. It's amazing. But I went to some breakfast burrito places, and they were also excellent. But the thing is, if we did, say, a blind taste test, and you're blindfolded, I don't know that I'd be like, okay, this burrito is so much better from another one made in a different part of the country. Whereas if you did that same blind taste test for a bagel or a pizza, you'll
That's
be like,
true.
without question, I don't need to see. I know that this one is superior.
Now that's a great show.
There we go.
Because I would love to see
There we go.
that for real.
Yeah.
And just watch New Yorkers just lose their shit. Even though I'm never blown away by pizza though at all, really.
Oh, wow.
I think prime. No, I love pizza, but it's very, very rare. Where
But you're like, I
"What
could
the
like
heck?
live with the Domino's. Like we're good.
Yeah, I'm fine with Domino's.
So
Papa John's, probably not Papa John's, but like I like prime pizza out here, where I'm like, oh, I think
good.
if the pepperonis curl up, I'm like, ooh, I think you know what you're doing.
So Willie Nelson said this once, and it bears repeating. He goes, "Pizza's like sex. Some is better than others, but it's all good."
It's all good.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like things that really surprise me, or sushi will surprise me.
That's
Pasta,
true.
it can
good
really
sushi
surprise. Pasta, like a crazy pasta spot, Felix, on Abbot Kinney, is crazy. Like you think that you know pasta, and you eat there, and you're like, dude, this is
Okay, but that's my point. That is my point. Is that like everywhere in New York you could go and get like really good pasta. Here, there's like 3 places.
Well, no, but this place is the only place outside of one other place in New York that makes this certain type of like Italian pasta.
Is
in-house.
Felix the one in with the house, like the green one? The green.
It's like a mid green or black with gold font.
No. The location though. The like physical restaurant itself. It looks like a house.
I think maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that I know. What
It's
you're
on
talking
Abbot
about.
Kinney, so
Yeah.
a lot of house looking things.
That's true. Okay. No.
I actually do know what it looks like because I was doing research before I got here, and Felix popped up.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
And what did it look like?
Is
Is
it
it a house?
that?
Is it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it on a corner?
Yes.
Yeah. Then I see
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I don't know what else challenges it. Do you guys do club strants in New York?
Oh, that's funny you say that. Yeah, there's a place called Kima. It's a Greek spot.
I've been there.
Go figure. Yeah, so Kima, which one have you been to?
Flatiron.
Yeah. So that one, at around a certain time, you're eating at your table and then you're standing at your table. On the
Okay.
table.
Like, have you ever been to Main Row?
No.
Main Row is one of the most. It's crazy that no one's in LA's been there. It's right in Hollywood.
Okay.
What?
It is one of the wildest dinners that you'll have in your life. It almost feels a little Vegas-esque, where like there's live singers, there's people like swinging around on top of your table.
Why have I never been here?
The food is really, really good. And all the waitresses and waiters are on cocaine, so they serve well. And they're coming to your table. It's all like a lot of like
bottle
Arabic music and
service?
stuff.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
And it's hype.
So do you like when, I don't know, everyone's different. Do you like the bottles coming to you with the sparklers?
No, it's not like that. It's different than that. I don't go
No,
to
I'm saying you
clubs.
personally, regardless. Some people love that.
Like a club
Yeah, they
situation?
love the sparkler, the bottle. I'm just like, like I can't wait for the sparkler to go out.
Wait, so if
Just
you
like,
order bottle
enough of this
service,
bottle.
you're like, just bring it to me.
Yeah, pretty much.
No!
Yeah, straight up.
Oh my
I'd
god, I
rather
want
just
my
be
name
more
in the
low-key
like
with it.
marquee.
Really?
You better like throw some shit in the air. Yes.
I cannot wait for that sparkler to just be put out and be extinguished.
See, I've only ordered bottle service in Minnesota.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah.
Where?
I've never ordered bottle service in LA. I've been to a place that has had bottles.
Right.
You're a boy. I get it. I forget it.
Yeah, I mean, like the guys that are ordering bottles
Yeah.
are like, I'm spending $2,000 tonight.
Yeah.
I was at one table once with the Turks where they're like, we're getting a bottle, but it's a shit place, and they know they didn't have any sparklers.
Oh wait. Okay. Will you tell him your story, the juice bot story?
How abridged? I'll as bridged as I can. Started a
Yeah.
company with 2 of my best friends out of college. It was like a juice kiosk. It was all raw, organic, unpasteurized, cold pressed juices. Okay, it was like a red box for juice. We were the only FDA approved device so you dispense an unpasteurized beverage, and that took a while. That took I think maybe 6 years to get that approval, or 3 years to get that approval. Anyways, we made a pact with ourselves. Once we got approved, we'd immediately move to either San Francisco or LA. We moved to San Francisco. We drove Lyft and Uber for like a year and a half until we found. I picked up Jack Dorsey one day. That helped us get into Twitter. Then we got in Sony PlayStation, Oracle, Snapchat, boom, 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 boom. And then my buddy, he picks up our next investor. So, and then we had an investor give us $3.5 million to be able to take the company and really scale it up. We had 25 employees, 6 who were our friends that actually lived with us in LA when we moved down here to scale, because nobody in San Francisco wants to live there long term. Anybody who wants to live there long term never wants to have a family. So it kind of distracts work culture a little bit. Like we wanted like a thing that was like bigger and easier, where like people that wanted families could also live and work at this company. And then our investors embezzled all the money and killed our company.
Shit. Oh, I didn't see that ending coming. I'm sorry.
It was like this.
That part.
No, that was the ending though. So it was 10 years of put it up with little bumps, and then in like 6 months
so they were like
completely died.
looking for money like abroad and shit.
Oh man, what a twist!
It was
like,
sick.
They're like trips abroad.
No, it was fine.
It's hilarious.
Whoa!
It was a good experience. The day that I got a bank account for Purple Banter, I was on a Zoom call and they were dissolving the company because they didn't want to have any. They're like, we have liability, no more liability. And I'm like, oh, liability of what? Like stealing $3 million, you fucks?
Shit. Oh
and the guy was like signing like by just getting the credit card or the debit card. He's like, oh shit, what's that? And I'm like, the other company that died.
Have you heard from them since?
Yeah,
no. Why would you?
No, I mean, some of them live in Orange County.
Do they really?
Like one of the guys lives in Orange County for sure. Some of the like advisors that we had lived in Orange County. But yeah, we got hosed. It was a good experience though. Really good experience.
What was the best? So what takeaway was the best experience from that? Just like now you're wiser. Now you like if you went into something similar, you have your guard up, or like what's the best?
I don't know. I don't think there's any way to overall save that from happening the way that it happened, and I don't think I could safeguard even my younger self from that thing. But I think it allowed me to continue to realize that like if you build small initially and understand like what the future looks like and how you could potentially play a role in making it like small incrementally better. Like we were just like, first it started as like a milk company. We were selling raw and pasteurized milk, and we were trying to talk to farmers in Minnesota, right? And then one of my business partners, we went over to Prague to figure out our first manufacturer. We stopped in New York, took some green juice after a long night out, and he felt great. We're coming back. We did 24 hours in Amsterdam. We were coming back home from this whole trip, and we did 24 hours in Amsterdam. We thought we were going to be able to sleep on the plane. We get to the plane that we're going to sleep on the whole way back, which is maybe a 5-hour flight or 6-hour flight. I don't know if we were. I don't know if we were going to New York or if we were going to Minneapolis. We were on all the way back to the plane where you can't lean back anymore.
God.
I hate that seat.
So my buddy's like, dude, the only thing I need right now is a juice. That's the only way I could feel happy. So we're like, when we get off this plane, let's not sell milk anymore. Let's sell juice.
Whoa.
And from that moment on, we scratched it. It was called Milk. We changed it to
Milk.
That was MELK.
Oh my God.
Because like there was a machine in Europe that was kind of doing some of the stuff that we liked, but we wanted to innovate around it. And
oh my God, the dairy industry would have been so terrible to navigate too.
You can't and like the thing is, raw milk was huge. This is 12 years ago now. Raw milk was like had a little uptick. You were starting to see it at Whole Foods. Everybody was kind of getting into it, and then milk like took this weird dive.
Yeah,
we're all 9 alternatives.
Right.
Yeah, everyone's just like, get the fuck away from milk.
And here, it's like regular milk? What do you mean? That doesn't exist.
I asked for regular milk today.
Did you really? And they were like, excuse me?
They're like, oh, yeah, I think we have that. I was like, you think you have that? That's like standard.
No, it is not. No, it's not. You're most likely to get like pistachio milk over like regular milk.
So we had crazy experiences. Like when we were raising money in San Francisco, I don't know, it took 100 meetings to get it legally passed in California. And it probably took us like 50 good like VC meetings to be able to raise that cash. So, but by the time we met these guys, we were like dialed. We knew everything. But the funny thing is, we were chasing big VCs. We got to talk to every single major VC in San Francisco. We always felt like we were like a month behind this other company called Juicero. And Juicero was like this home pressed machine, but they sent the packets to the house.
So it was like Nespresso, but for juice.
Yes.
Okay.
And we were in conversations with this Juicero company, and they were like, hey, can you make our thing? And we're like,
so they wanted to white label your product.
They wanted us to make their product.
Right.
And we learned how shit they were. We were like this.
Oh, so it's not.
We were like
it's
this
shitty.
company. They're not doing business right. They were idiots, and their product was shit. They raised $100 million.
Is it still in business?
So I don't know how many times my co-founder Kamal is in meetings with major VCs, being like, "You guys are fucked," and we're just like, "Dude, all we know is you're fucked. That's it. The product sucks. It's not going to work. It's not going to adapt." Somebody on TikTok or Reels at the time, I don't know which one it was, orders one of their bags to their door, doesn't use a machine that's $2,000, and he juices the juice out with his hand and not use the machine. That's a $2,000 machine.
Oh my God.
The company died within like 3 months.
Whoa.
Lost all their money. And so during our era, they're like one of the products in that weird Uber raising phase, Airbnb, WeWork, when all those when companies were raising like crazy dollar signs.
Cameo, my old company.
They were
Memo.
in that, and they were some of the huge failures in that time because people weren't checking anything. As long as they liked you and you wore a good enough suit and you talked kind of like crispy enough for them, they fucked with you.
I mean, the company that I was at, I mean, they just filed bankruptcy. I just got an email. They're like, "We filed bankruptcy." I'm like, "No shit,
damn.
you laid me off like a year and a half ago." But yeah, I think they raised like 120 million, something like that, and it didn't do shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Dude,
wild.
I thought they were crushing it.
Huh?
I thought they were doing quite well.
Well, not Cameo, Memo. I was working for
Oh.
Memo, the European company.
Oh, no good.
That I mean, not similar, but basically all they would do is copy everything that Cameo did. Like, I don't give a shit, I'll tell you. We would like wipe the internet of everything that Cameo did. We had like somehow got their back end data, and they'd be like, "Oh, just do what Cameo did." And you're like,
Because they can, I guess, right?
I
Did you have a
guess.
different like ethics around what
There was no
they
ethics.
would be?
So the company was based in Europe, and then they like brought me in to run North America because they're like, we're Europeans, we don't understand how the celebrity aura works in America, which is true. It's very, very different in Europe than it is here. So they're like, how I was brought on was like, we want to trust you with your ideas to do this differently, like to approach this differently. But they didn't. They just wanted everything to be exactly like Cameo did, which Cameo, they got really lucky. They actually connected with these two guys, and these guys were on salary for like an insane amount of money, and they just like paid people to bring on the platform. Also, it was a great time to do it. I think they're still doing fine, but Memo died.
Yeah, Greek dude too, right?
Yeah, Chicago.
Greek people know when other Greek people have a business. We just know.
Yeah,
I don't know how
that's
we
true.
know
Yeah.
this. It's not
It's
a
true.
newsletter that goes out.
You
We
are
just know.
you're a tricky, like sticky community because
Why?
I feel like culturally, like we would be like, okay, like Jewish communities stay together, and you'd hear all these different things. Greeks are weird together, but you don't like know it unless you meet a Greek, and she'll be like, "Oh, this is my Greek friend. This is all this." I'm like, who fucking knew that Greeks just were like in each other's DMs talking to each other? It's you're sneaky tight.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're sneaky. I like that.
I think it's gotten a lot better too, because my whole life is just like, oh, Greeks have to get better at networking and helping one another out. And I think for a long while there was that where they should have been collaborating better. But in the last 4 or 5 years, I've seen a major uptick in just people like finding common ground and helping one another out. I mean, we never had met with this. We just met the other day in person, but we did a podcast together. We've collaborated on things. We've spoken back and forth. We're fond of one another. Just like, oh shit, like let's help each other out when we can. And I think you're seeing a lot more of that. I don't know if COVID made us appreciate each other more. I don't know, but it has gotten better. But historically, you're right. It has been like a little weird.
Yeah, because I just think you could think of a ton of other communities that are like, they stick together.
They do it better.
But they're like, for example, there used to be a little Greek town in LA, but then now that's K-Town.
Yeah, it's K-Town.
Oh, no way.
Right? Which is like, it's Chinatown, K-Town, all those, you expect that in cities.
Right.
A little Greek town would be sick, but you don't see that
Well,
quite
you
as
do
often.
in New York and you do in Chicago.
But only two
that's
cities.
it. Yeah.
But
Right?
the Chicago one, I was so let down because I lived for a long time in Astoria, which is like everyone that came from Greece to New York and stayed in New York pretty much started out in Astoria.
Right.
Then I went to Chicago, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna check out Greek Town," and it's 2 blocks.
Well, it's
like,
different
this is a
too
town?
because like Greek Town, Chicago used to be, all the restaurants, all the everything, and then it's like the next generation just didn't want to run those businesses.
Got it.
So which I kind of think is what happened. Well, in LA, people dispersed, but also there's just like more Koreans than Greeks.
Was it maybe, as weird as it is, because I think there's always, was it when Greece almost went like the most bankrupt?
Oh, yeah.
And so I would imagine at that time, was that like a little bit of a bonding experience of going, oh shit, like this culture as we know it might not really exist anymore?
No, I don't think so.
I think it made us very. I had to defend Greece more than ever in my entire life for a few years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because I always wonder what those
to
unifying
who? Just,
moments
like,
are.
General public.
Well, just people talking shit. You know
But
what I mean?
I don't
And it was
mind
hard to
if people
defend for a
talk
while.
shit. Where you're just
Yeah.
like, all right, and
Yeah,
What
but Greeks are so proud. That's the
Totally.
thing,
Do you guys get like the conqueror shit much?
What do you mean?
Like Greeks.
Oh, like you rule.
You know, like Brits,
Oh.
I feel like
Oh no, we go the opposite.
we'll
Like
barely get any of that still. As weird
not
as
in the
that-
Greek community,
But like
they got our marbles.
But like U.S. Americans are gonna get that all the time. Which like, dude, the only reason you're here is because you conquered everything. You're assholes. Greeks did it in a wild way too,
For sure.
And but in a world that also, I don't think it was as frowned upon back in the day.
Not at
it
all.
It was ways of survival. You all just found a way to mechanically like be like, yo, built one of the greatest cultures of all time, and it spanned across multiple places. Do you ever hear people other than me? I always give her a shit for being like a conquering Greek because my wife's Arab, and so I'll be like, oh, Mediterranean restaurant kind of shit, which is like, this is like totally like an Iraqi restaurant or something like that. But even like her, like I'll even, cause like the Turks, for example, that were our investors would be like, we'd go to Turkish restaurants that were Mediterranean, and the Turkish guys in the back are like, that's what the white people, they come to the Mediterranean restaurant. They won't come to a Turkish restaurant. I'm like, maybe, but I'd love to go to a Turkish restaurant.
I don't know, but we were also like after that time period, like we were controlled. We were super fucking poor. So maybe that's no, I don't get the conqueror thing.
Yeah, we experienced slavery too. So
Yeah.
but I've never heard that actually. It's
No.
funny it's funny you say that. But then if someone could certainly make that argument, right?
Like
Also-
if they looked into it, they'd be like, oh shit.
Well, that's the thing. How there wasn't that much documentation from back then. I mean, there's enough, right, for like the
Right.
history books, but not to really get into the nitty gritty on a lot of
Lucky
things.
there weren't
like the
phones.
day-to-day.
Yeah.
No,
Like-
no camera phones.
Well, yeah, no camera. Oh my God, imagine.
That's funny.
Imagine.
I mean, there's always times like I always think when you're like starting a company, especially when you're like foundational pieces, it's okay to test the company of like, what is it like when I'm not here?
Right.
And that's a scare. I think you're more scared with that than I am.
I'm terrified.
Because I think what happened for me is like I lived in a company for 10 years.
Yeah.
That like us, the core 3 dudes, like for a second, like didn't let each other leave. Because it was like, dude, like if we leave, this thing dies. And I think that when the company was like slowly dying, it made me realize like, wait, if I'm the person that just like takes the reins off and the whole company dies, I'm probably not building this thing effectively.
Right.
And now we're still in the place that we have to hold the reins really tight or this thing for sure dies. But we have to get like used to being like, what if I wasn't here for like 6 hours or a day?
Right.
How would that play? And right now it's only like, if I'm gone, that means she's doing all the shit. She's gone, I'm doing all the shit.
I think that's the difference between being a business operator and a business owner. And even though people think they're business owners, more often than not, they're business operators. You know what I mean? Like everyone wants to be the owner, but like you said, like for me, it's just me. Like I'm a business operator as much as I own a business. If I'm not there, I mean, yeah, I got my little sister watching the business for me right now while I'm in LA, but really I'm doing everything. So you want to get yourself to the point where you could kind of like view from up top and kind of just like delegate and just oversee things for sure. And then you're really like an owner, and I'm still trying to get to that point myself.
Yeah.
I wish we could even just get to operator point because we're still like employees at our own company.
Yes.
And I think functionally when we get to a spot of a lot of employees, you're a really good business operator at that C-suite level of like this is how we delegate. And then I think I'm very good at like curating and building opportunity to be able to drag in things
More.
and just like continue to like create this churning funnel to then hopefully allow us to like just expand and build. But that I wish that was tomorrow. It's just not.
Well, that's what makes a good partnership too, is that, you know, you pick each other up. You have certain skill sets. She has others. A lot of people go into business with friends and they have the same exact skill sets. You know what I mean? It could work, but I rather go into business with
we luckily don't at all.
Yeah.
Like there's like small bleed. Like you've actually brought in bigger opportunity than me, like for like some one pops. But then we'll like slowly get like gather and kind of draw and then I've had to be like all the way front lines for a while. But now like when I get off of it, then you become more valuable than me for like a period of time.
Yeah, there's definitely, we definitely are different.
Just like not even the same.
Yeah.
Which is,
but
thank God.
we are the same. The one good thing we're the same at, we're the same on set-ish with, I would say.
Chilling.
Same chill.
Like right now?
No, with like other shows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like we're the same. If we are like on set producing a show, we kind of bring the same level-ish of energy.
It's almost like your guys' brand then.
That is
100%
the reason we've cultivated business is that on set,
people
go, oh, this feels better than what we had. We worked with there was like some production company shooting like an episode of something up top of State Social House once, and we were shooting a podcast.
Oh wow!
So it was like this Hollywood production company.
It was like it was. They were shooting a small movie.
One of these like PA guys comes running through our set, and for the first time, I've never been on set of like a real thing, and so it was the first time ever I got to feel that. And this like prick is like being an asshole, like you can't come through here, and I'm like,
podcast.
no, like we're like that. We're not you guys. Like I don't give a fuck if someone walks through here right now, and he was just like, wait, what's happening right now? I'm like, your set's that way. This is not you, dude. Like,
blew his mind.
You're being crazy. Like, we don't care if they walk right behind the camera. The camera's like strong enough to like. We have dogs running around with effing cameras all day, and that just wouldn't be allowed. I think with any other company.
Oh no way.
And I just don't think that's the thing that matters. Is like this weird edge that like the Hollywood crowd gives. Like the producers in the 80s or all these things.
Well, I
don't even know what they fucking do though.
That's just all about power. Like that's all that is. That's everything in Hollywood, everything in entertainment. It's like you just want to have power, and so that trickles down just to the guy that checks you in, who's like, I'm going to be an asshole because I can check you in. Like it's like the doorman vibe, you know. Don't get me started on fucking agents because I hate them. Actually, I don't. I love you guys. But that's the whole thing. It's just like a trickle down of you've got the assistant, you got to butter up the assistant to get to the person that's just at like a lunch for 5 hours. And that's a whole other really interesting, like LA centric world for sure too.
How have you done like hiring and stuff? Have you bridged that gap in a lot of different ways, or is that still something that's happening?
Still something that's happening. So,
did you ever think about like a co-founder or a partner?
I wouldn't mind. So I'd like a strategic partner.
Okay.
If someone that's done this before can come on, that's more valuable to me than someone that's like, hey, I have a check, which by the way I'll accept as well. I don't want to push that away. But if somebody comes with both those things, but really the know-how and the experience
to open doors,
that's more so what I'm looking for. I thought I found it a couple times, and I got like some bad vibes a few times. You catch inconsistencies in what people are saying and just like, I don't think this is going to quite work out. So I haven't gotten there yet, but that's something I'm looking to change soon. So I had to take 6 months off the business, which really hurt because I had a lot of forward momentum going. I was like, we were kicking ass. We were doing really well. And then our Facebook ad account got hacked. And you would think, oh, this is $1 trillion company. My account got hacked. I'm going to get this back in a couple days. It took 5.5 months to get my ad account back.
That doesn't surprise me.
That was one.
And that's like the pinnacle of drawing business in to your company.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have a storefront. We're hate to say it, but we're pretty reliant on,
but that's how it is. That's where media is right now.
Yeah.
Or like your type of product. I mean,
and without it, you're just doing friends and family.
You would never do I mean, you might do, but like majority of your business in this day, I would assume, is e-commerce.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Almost all of it.
Yeah.
So that happened, and then simultaneously, right around the same time, we got products that instead of printing out white, which is how they're supposed to print out, they printed out brown because our manufacturers used a different adhesive, didn't tell us.
We love our neutrals.
Oh, yeah.
No?
No, Clean Real Aesthetics out. It's,
Oh,
it's
okay.
Mop-wise,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Our family
Mop-wise.
just got into neutrals. So, yeah.
Okay. So, like, yeah, so that was unexpected, and I invested heavily into that. But you know what's weird? Like, sometimes, like, it ended up being a blessing and not even knowing it because it was around Father's Day, which is essentially our Super Bowl. It's where we get the most amount of sales. And because no one knows what to get dad ever. So, with that being said, our ad account got hacked. Then we got these products that didn't print, and I was pretty upset about it. But looking back, because, you know, Monday morning quarterback type thing, looking with hindsight, I was like, if we got all those orders, I would have put thousands of dollars into advertising, and I would have had to turn customers away. I wouldn't have been able to fulfill the orders. So one thing happened. It actually
saved you money.
Yeah, and because of correct, and also in that time we found a new manufacturer. We made the product bigger. We changed the material up a little bit. So yeah, fast forward 6 months later, it ended up being a blessing in disguise. But like, you don't know that stuff when it's going on. You're just like, oh, I'm hitting a wall, but it's actually not. Like, I actually like went through the wall. It just took quite some time. But now I'm at the point where, yeah, I'm looking to hire, outsource, bring more people onto the team. It's time for that.
Yeah. It's a weird process. We're trying to figure that out. Because, like, there's this weird period of time where, especially when you're doing, like, these different types of contracts, we're able to absorb majority of what we make to be able to allow ourselves to, like, live. Now it's like, okay, how do we build up enough scale that we're hopefully not losing any more monthly, but still like able to share enough to be able to bring in like valuable talent.
And
so weird,
share
like
enough to like, if someone dips or something happens, we're not like, oh fuck, this is scary.
Yeah. It's a weird, it's a good time, but it's also a weird one to kind of just figure out how that all works.
How have things changed for you guys in like the last year, right? So you mentioned everything that's happening. A lot of jobs have been on hold, or like how is your industry and your guys' team and production company podcast? How has that changed in the last year? Really, when things started going down, correct? I think it was about a year when the strikes happened and all that.
The only thing that affected us on the strike side, I would say, like a few of the celebrities that we reached out to are like wanted to be a guest on the show, and they're like, we actually can't do anything because there was like a few certain people on the strike. Like, I'm stickler. I'm sitting in my house. I'm at the picket lines. I'm not doing anything. Second person that's like, I'm good. Like, I respect this. I'm part of the union, whatever. But like, I'll go on a podcast. And then the third person's like, I'm a working actor and person. Like, I have bills to pay. Let me do what I need to do. I'm not like crossing the picket line, but at the same time, whatever. But I think overall it did bring more people to the podcast platforms overall because it was more content. That there was lack of content overall, and we're going to continue to see a lack of content. You're going to see on shows or on networks, it's going to be reality for like a long. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do we need more reality?
We don't, but it's cheap to make for the studios.
Maybe it was valuable reality. What if it was more like the Gary V reality?
I think
than all the
that.
shit.
Yeah.
Like
but
more
how
like
do you...
following valuable. Like everyone in the world's valuable, but some people are playing into the smut.
But
like
I don't
reality's
think
all
that
smut. What if it was
Hollywood
like valuable
will allow that.
reality?
I honestly think though that's it. At an ethos would be the great concept, but I think like as you develop on, it's hard to maintain that. Like I think wholeheartedly, like, if you look at season 1 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, they probably were like, let's just show our family,
a cool family, making money, pretty girls.
Yeah, we
like
run
point.
this little boutique, whatever, and then it's turned into whatever. Like good for them, they're billionaires.
I just think that they don't
completely different.
I think that like where media is. They don't realize how sticky an audience can be. For example, we see people like Steve will do it. Mm-hmm. People will just sit and watch him gamble for hours. And now he would be more in the version of like a smut type of television where it's like it's a lot of
Chain
drinking,
smoking
it's
cigarettes.
bullshit,
Yeah.
but it's also like young guy comedy. So like it's also not. I don't know. It's in more the vein of like the jackassy type of stuff than it's not following around Gary Vee. However, what's interesting about what he does is he's not really trying to entertain people a lot of the time. Like he's pretty comfortable with like, oh, I'm just betting.
Yeah.
And you're just going to stay here up all night for like 20 hours with me.
But that speaks to like a very niche audience.
Yeah.
Like
for
if
sure.
you put that on Netflix, I don't know how many people would watch that.
I definitely don't think anybody would watch it on Netflix.
Yeah.
But it's weird to see how people are stickier than we'd think, though, of like maybe wanting to watch somebody actually like in a meeting or in something like that. Maybe you would be, maybe there's more there than we think because we're willing to watch just a rich young kid gamble. I don't know what a live stream could really be. I think there's more there than we're always extracting.
To me, though, there's an audience for just about everything and anything, right? That sounds miserable to me. 100%. I would never want to watch that. Also, my least favorite thing, and this is going back to like the college years, like you'd be hanging out with your buddies and they're playing a video game, and I'm watching them play this video game. I'm like, I don't give a shit about this. Like
that's one of the biggest markets in the world
that's the
right
thing.
now.
Isn't that
well,
crazy?
that's what I'm getting. How crazy now? Was it Twitch?
Yes.
There's kids making $100 million contracts.
Yep.
With that.
Yeah,
It's
and there's kids who are like,
insane.
I'm gonna play. Oh, what are you gonna do? Get a job? Like, Mom, I'm playing video games and I'm making bank. I'm making millions playing video games and I'm 17 years old.
Yes.
So
I have a niece
who knew?
that I'm like, I'm seeing Roblox on her laptop, and I'll go, oh, what Roblox game are you playing? She goes, no, I'm watching my favorite person, like let's just call it like
insane.
Pink Unicorn 07 play Roblox.
Wow.
And it's the little brother syndrome, which is like my little sister has it. She watched me play video games.
Really?
Because I was Big Brother.
Yeah.
And
I
also I would watch my like older sister play Sims.
Interesting.
Because we'd hang out. It's a commentary. It's back and forth. It's kind of like watching a movie, but your older sibling is directing the movie.
Okay.
And it's a huge ordeal that is definitely an emerging space. I don't know where that goes, but it's not ending anytime
What about
soon.
that YouTuber and she just opens toys?
That's a thing?
Oh my God, she makes millions. And kids are entranced by it. Like they just
It's QVC for kids.
No,
is what's
but
really
they-
happening.
They're
Kind of.
training them.
Kind
They're getting
of.
them hooked.
Because
they-
the kid's like, oh my gosh, it's this. It's a paid ad.
No, have you seen it though? It's creepy. It's not a kid. It's a woman. It's like an older woman.
That's very creepy.
It's so creepy. I was bartending. The reason I know this is because I was working at like what used to be called the Soho House for kids. We had like, it was the best fucking restaurant ever. There was a bar and then there was like a nanny spot. It was all the celebrity kids. So like they would like drop the kids off and then they'd like come get drunk with me. It was called Low Fudge, Jessica Biel. It was awesome. So I was talking to this parent one time and she's like, yo, this is like, I feel kind of bad having my kid watch it because it's like she's on crack when she watches it. And it's literally this woman that just like unboxes dolls or any toy like Lego. And she's just like, look, this one comes with a cell phone. And the kids are just locked in.
I haven't seen this in a second. Did you ever have any friends from back home? I had relatives that they were like, they'd unbox like pearls, and then their audience would like then buy the pearl from them.
No.
What? Is this like a Facebook
This
thing?
was crazy. This was like very, very early COVID. So they would like.
Where do they get the pearls?
It was like a discovery process. So they would order a big box of like these pearls, and it was almost like
oysters, and then you try to find the pearls.
You
or they're
basically
all
have
pearls?
to think of it as like this person would order a bunch of player cards, and he would pick up like a Michael Jordan, and then the audience in the chat, which was not many people, we're talking like 20 people, would go, "Oh, I'll do that one for." I think the audience had already bought. That's actually what was crazy. So the audience had already bought into the box, and then they would be like, "This is Janet's pearl," and then she would like unbox it and be like, "Oh, Janet, unfortunately, you got a white one." or whatever, and that they would already have like bought their pack of player cards.
And so you're done. Janet got the white pearl.
But sometimes
Sucks.
it was like, Mary Beth got the pink one. Oh gosh, we haven't seen one of this. We haven't seen this since Tuesday. It was
my God.
I have to look back. You reminded me of something that was like
Midwest
wild.
white people shit.
Yeah, and
holy shit.
I had like a cousin that was like in it.
Was it like a pyramid scheme?
It seemed. I would imagine. I would love to know what that company's doing right now. I bet they're in like Boca Raton or hiding things off the shore of like somewhere else.
That reminds me. Remember when people for a short time were doing like this? You were bidding on things, but you had to buy coins, and you would bid on something like an iPhone, and people would like ramp it up. But the first thing you always won was a cheap pearl necklace. Do you guys recall this?
No.
Yeah, it was this thing. It was around for a long time. So you bid the first.
Where would you bid on it? Just on the internet?
Yeah.
Okay.
And people were obsessed with it. It had like a run of about like 3 or 4 months until people realized the only thing that they won was a shitty pearl necklace, and you were so pot committed to bidding on something because you don't get the money back. You don't get the money back once you bid it. So people would buy like an iPhone and they'd spend $200 more on it. But people just had the pearl necklace that they got a great deal on, hoping to strike gold again and get that same deal, but it never happened. It's crazy, like what takes off and what doesn't. How about like,
and all cyclical, like that stuff will come back.
Oh, without question.
So make sure that Purple Banter's on that money,
yeah.
that scheme,
Seriously.
that scam.
How do we get it?
Yes. A weird one too that I don't get it. Some people love it. ASMR.
I know.
I find it.
Have you ever done it with AirPods in? Because you need to do it with the right noise canceling speakers, and they'll even like switch ears. Have you ever?
Really?
Yeah. So they'll like even like start the ticking, and you can almost feel like go through your head, and they'll switch headphones.
But
it's bizarre.
There's different categories, right? So like, there's one that's eating, which sounds disgusting.
I don't want to hear anyone.
No, that's not like that's not real.
That's like OnlyFans shit.
No, on the OnlyFans shit is like a girl like petting it. She'll like give a blowjob, and it's ASMR blowjob.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Wait, really?
Yes, for sure. ASMR.
No
I haven't seen
way.
ASMR though again since COVID.
Yeah, it was a
like
COVID
during
thing.
COVID, ASMR was popping. Actually, you know what?
Things got weird.
It even
got
predated COVID. Shit, ASMR was popping like 7 years ago.
It was a girl I was dating who had showed it to me years before COVID, and I'm like, well, "You're into this?"
Oh,
and
she
she's like-
was?
She's like, "It helps me sleep." And I'm like,
This
"This
is
is
like white noise.
It just makes like all the hairs on my arm, and there's a lot of Greek.
Yeah.
Here. It just makes it all rise, and I'm like, I can't even listen to this. I hate it personally, but some people can go to sleep listening to that. Not me.
No,
Mm-hmm.
not at all. But I get it, I guess, because it's white noise ish.
Well,
go to sleep
there's
with
all,
white
but
noise.
I guess how a lot of
can't.
ASMR switch to is like meditation. Because like I do have friends now that'll
do.
do the sleep meditation apps, and they're almost ASMR-y because they're like,
Oh.
"Hi, we're gonna go on a journey together."
That would freak me out. Now, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Hi, we're going on a journey. I'd freak out.
No, you
They tell
can.
you like bedtime stories.
I don't like the sound
And
of
you
that.
Yeah.
travel, you
No.
fly, and stuff in these journeys.
Oh no, no.
Dude, I'll
No.
ASMR people. You just like, I'll run it. Let's go. Yeah, that's funny.
There has to be ASMR podcast.
I think
Has
so.
to be.
It has to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably just.
That's probably on OnlyFans. Just like
Really?
3 naked chicks sitting around, like just talking like this.
Is that what it is though? Just like talking like this. And, like,
But then they'll bring out like, it's also
They
a lot
bring
of like
it
old
open.
school studio stuff that you would use for like developing sound. So you'd click that. You'd definitely
yeah,
click the keyboard.
for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You'd click your nails on the surface of this thing.
You'd like open a bag,
yeah.
like zip it up.
Yep. Yeah, they'll put like the condom on the mic. What? Yeah. I've never seen
People
it.
are weird. People are weird.
So
I
yeah,
can't
there's a
handle it.
market for everything.
There is a market
what
for
we learned
everything.
from this.
Yeah.
So with your pocket squares, what is the angle that makes y'all different?
So it's patented actually. So we have memory metal inside. So we always say no matter how you fold it, it retains its shape, and when you put it in the pocket, it stays up, which is our tagline. So I'm a marketing guy. I try to have fun. try to have fun really with anything. That
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, it stays up.
Yeah,
nice.
Basically, yeah. We use that a lot. For
You need an
Valentine's Day.
OnlyFans.
I don't know about that. People would be very disappointed when they just see his pocket squares.
Maybe. I don't know. There's a niche for everybody.
I suppose. I think I heard somebody was on OnlyFans and they were doing math problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were crushing
Someone's into it.
Yeah.
Was
yeah.
it?
I think that was Stephen Hawking's on the island. Yeah, for sure. Good call.
He's been in the news lately.
Oh my God.
Just when you thought
Math
you heard
problems.
when you thought you heard the last of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, what makes us different is we take something that like there's no company synonymous with pocket squares, and I also think I never wear ties, but there's always going to be an occasion to wear a sports jacket. Like I don't really wear suits a lot, but I always rock a sports jacket. You know, there's always an event for it, and it's a conversation piece. You know, so we have fun patterns. We make it easy to fold, and the memory metal that's inside, that's our big differentiator. If I was to go into this industry and not have something patented, I don't think I would have done it. But because I'm just like, oh, no one else can make this claim. This could be like my thing. Let's roll with it. So
how long did that take to patent?
It took a while. Also because we were going. This was around the COVID time, so all the courts were on pause and backed up. So it took like almost like 4 years, which is a long time, and it shouldn't be that long. And then finally,
could you speed it up now? Do you think
it would not be nearly as long?
Once you're in, you can kind of like you have a little bit more footing.
Oh, do you mean if I was to patent something else?
Yeah.
You're saying? I don't know about that. I think the natural course it would be on would be a lot quicker just because the courts aren't backed up.
You don't have like the in at the patent.
Yeah, right. No, but you know what's interesting? They interview you at some point. They don't have to, but it's natural to get a lot of rejections in the patent process. It's just how it goes. And they wanted to do a Zoom call, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to where my HQ is, which is my garage in Astoria. And I was there, and I'm like, hey, guys, like, just so you know, I want you to, this is the entrepreneur behind the brand. And I'm not in some, like, penthouse or whatever. I'm like, I'm here in a garage in Astoria, Queens. And this is what I'm doing. I print everything here. I box everything here. I do this. And it's all done here by me, one-man operation. And that really, I could tell when I was saying it to them, they're just like, respect. Like, I really... Like now we kind of know the story behind this, and at the end, they said to me, Anthony, the call was done. Thank you for your time, all this stuff. And they go, there's many great companies that have been started in garages, and we think you have a great company as well, and we want to wish you all the success in the world. So I was like, oh, that's cool.
You're like, I'm in.
Yeah, but I think that's the power of storytelling, like you guys know, right? Like,
sure,
you're able to paint a picture, tell a story, and people are interested, and that's like the name of the game, is just figuring out, how do you paint a story so people see what's behind the curtain, and to get people to care.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that certainly helped a lot as well.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. So COVID actually helped you with that. You got the Zoom inside the place, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would have probably done the interview in the garage regardless.
It was always over Zoom though. The patent interview, like if pre-COVID?
Well, there was an option. You could go to wherever. I don't know if it was DC or whatever it may be. So in that sense, yeah, that definitely saved
right, because then you'd be in person with your square, looking like a
Here's a picture of my garage.
Yeah.
Right.
I brought a poster board picture of my garage.
Right. So yeah, in that sense, yeah, I guess that makes sense. That
you'd have won them over either way, though.
Yeah. Thanks. Sure. It worked out, so I'll take the W on that, but. Yeah, it worked out.
It's dope. Well, this is the trials and tribulations, just trying to build. Yeah. So
yeah, man.
I think this is good. This is great.
Cool.
So, Purple. What is this? This is Banter for the People. That we're on.
Where are we? Who are you?
So thank you for coming through. We appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on. I love what you guys are doing, and this has been just like, as mentioned, such an incredible trip here to LA, and being able to meet good people like yourselves, chop it up, it just makes it even better. So loved my stay here, and I loved my time with you guys. Thank you.
Love it. Love you all. God bless and school.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war.